What'd you move up for, buddy? Just so I can come back here and scratch your butt? You gotten awfully pushy lately. Somebody asked me how long I'd had these guys. I got Hamish when he was 10 months old. He had just been weaned from his mother. And the farmer that I got him from was getting ready to retire. And he knew I had this thing about Scotland and Highland cows. Coincidentally enough, he happened to breed Highland cows. So he called me up one day and asked me if I'd like to have a 10-month-old calf. And I jumped at it, never even hesitated. I think we went out there 2 days later and looked at him and figured out what all we needed to do, and went back about 2 weeks later and picked him up. Kylo was already 4 years old when we got him. I mentioned before that Kylo had been born a runt, and he was. At 4 years old, he should have been about 700 or 800 pounds at least. But he was so small that me and my buddy were able to pick him up off the ground and load him into the trailer rather than having him walk up the ramp. He was probably only about 250 pounds or so. He was about the size of a large dog. But in the case of most what people call miniature Highlands, most of the time they're not miniature Highlands, not true miniature Highlands. Most of the time they're just stunted animals. And the truth is they stay that way while they're in that environment. In Kylo's case, the other cows had pushed him off the hay and pushed him off the grain. He was sort of a loner. So he wasn't ever going to get any bigger, in that environment. But once we got him over here, his big cow genes kicked in, and he started growing. So that's why the size difference between Hamish and Kylo, even though they're only about 6 months apart in age, Hamish being a little bit older. I actually got Kylo because I'd gotten to looking around for one. I actually sought him out. It wasn't some twist of fate that brought us together or anything like that. I actually went looking for him because I was tired of Hamish here standing up there by the fence, and from a dead standstill he would clear it, and then he'd go waltzing off down the road looking for a buddy to play with. One summer, I guess he was about 4 years old, 3.5, 4 years old. He probably did it about 3 times a week. I got tired of putting him back in. So, figured I better find somebody for him to play with before he started getting in, some serious trouble. And that's when I found Kylo. Hey, big boy.